everyone, welcome back to RTS and welcome back to another segment of Revamp the Skills. Yes, we're going to do a fun little project today that is not only easy, but it's quick and super duper cheap. Yes, and we're going to use our scraps. Yes, so it doesn't get any easier than that. So I thought what I would do for the next couple days is kick off a mini series, a little mini event here on RTS to celebrate World Card Making Day, which is coming up on Saturday, October the 6th. So, come back tomorrow because there may be a giveaway. Hint, hint, wink, wink. Yes, and then on Saturday, I'm actually going to have a video about making cards using what we're going to do today. So yes, and honestly, I am not a card maker, so don't expect anything fantabulous. It's just I'm not a card maker, but I am a scrapbooker who uses my supplies to make cards. And I know a few of you know what I'm talking about because you said the same thing about yourself. So what are we going to do today? We are going to make little mini scrapbooks. Yeah, scrapbooks? Well, we do that every day. No, I mean actually scrapbooks, books of our scraps. And I'll tell you why we're going to do that and how simple it is to do that. And just look at that. Oh, love. It's like a little library of scraps. Yes, so we're going to do that. Honestly, I've been doing this for years. It was a craft that we did back in our homeschool days. Yes, many, many years ago. And so then I also applied it to my hobby when it comes with dealing with scraps. So we're going to go a little step by step. Honestly, it's so simple. All you need is your scraps. So get out your scrap bin, your scrap folder, your scrap tote, whatever you want, okay? And then you're going to need some duct tape. That's it. Now, this is from the Dollar Tree. So it does not have to be name brand. This is from the Dollar Tree. Just get something pretty, something fun, or best of all, use what you already have. Everybody always has duct tape. Even if you need to use that gray duct tape we have in our home, go ahead and grab that because I'll show you what to do if you do have ugly duct tape, but you still want to do this project. Oh, yes. As crafters, we can come up with anything. Okay, so what are we going to do? Okay, well, first of all, we're going to make these books of scraps. So we're going to make a scrapbook. Yes, I think I've had too much caffeine already. So anyways, this is a 4-inch size. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take our scraps and we're going to make a little book out of them to make them more accessible and easy to use and fun to use when it comes to little projects and even die cutting, stamping, just when you need a little bit of something and you don't want to get off your seat. You know how I am about staying in your seat when you're scrapbooking. Okay, so now with these books, and let me get some room here. With these books, there's absolutely no wrong way to do that. But over the years, I have found that there's one tip that works better than anything else, and that is if you keep the width of your books the same size. So for example, this scrap is 4 inches wide, but look, I have different varying lengths, okay? This one I think is this is 3 inches. Okay, now this is 3 inches, but they're basically all the same size. It doesn't matter, okay? This is a 2.5 inch size. Again, they're all 2.5 in width, but look at the length, different lengths, okay? And again, I think this is a 2 and a 2. Yes, there's a 2, and this, I don't know, what does that measure? 2 by 4? I don't even have a thing here. Oh, this is a 2 by 3, okay? But these are all the same length, but it doesn't have to be. And these are the cute little 2 by 2s that you can pay for or make your own. Yes, you don't have to buy 2 by 2 squares. What do they call them? Inchies, 2 by 2s? You don't need to buy inchies. You don't need to buy inchy books. You can make them yourself. And I'm going to show you how to do that using your own scraps and this wonderful sticky stuff called duct tape. Yes, again, I tell you, this came from the Dollar Tree, $1 a roll, and it's so pretty, and it's sticky as all get out for $1. You don't get a ton on there, but you don't need a ton. No. Okay. So again, I want to stress that the only thing you really need to remember is that if you keep your book in the same width form, basically that's the way you have to do it because otherwise it'll fall apart. So this is a 4 inch, this is a 3 inch. See, that's a 4, that's a 3. I'm trying to get, this is a 2.5, and this is a 2 and a 2. So 2, 2, 2.5, 3, and a 4. So you can see they get bigger as we go. We're stacking them like dominoes over here. Yes. Look at this book. Okay, now, I remember a few years ago I was actually working on this set here. And I was sitting there, it was one fall evening, winter evening, and I was sitting there on the floor, and my husband said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm making a scrapbook." He goes, "Yeah, I know, that's what you always do." I said, "No, I'm making a scrapbook. I'm making a book of scraps." I don't know if he understood why I was doing it, but he said, "Okay, if that's what you're doing, that's what you're doing." So it's funny to see how the men in our life talk about our hobby. Yes. Okay. So that's the only tip I want to say is when you're making these little scrapbooks is that you keep your width the same. Okay. Because then it's going to keep your binding all in one size. Okay, so that's the only thing. Now if you want to have them in varying lengths, totally up to you. If you want to do it the same length, totally up to you, or if you want to do both. Okay, now with your scraps you can do it one of two ways. You can absolutely take your scraps, and I have a pile, because we're actually going to make one, because you know me, I like to talk and I like to craft, so we're going to do both together. So what I wanted to say is you can do it in one of two ways. You can pick the size you want, but then you also can say, do you want various colors? Or do maybe you want to do a book just of all your red? Doesn't matter. Or you can do it in rainbow color. Or what you can do is maybe pull your neutrals. Okay, maybe you want to, I have a ton of white scraps, always do. So maybe you want to just do a scrapbook of just your whites, or maybe you want to do one of craft or black, or maybe if you're someone who uses a lot of gray or ivory, or maybe you want to combine all your neutrals into one book. There is absolutely no wrong way to do this. The only tip I said, keep your width the same throughout. Okay, now when you're doing this, you may have to cut down some of your scraps to fit the book that you want. That's okay, because then you create another pile of these little scraps. And here's what I say, okay, with these little scraps, either you purge them right now and just get them out of your space, or put them in a Ziploc bag for a few more weeks down the road, because I may have a project coming up using all these beautiful little scraps. Okay, so that's just something to keep in mind. Okay, I don't normally keep this small, but I'm keeping them for a bit because I have a project I want to show coming up. Okay, so now let's get cracking. So again, you know what to do. Just keep them one size. Now you know you can decide how you want to do it. So let's just make one. It is so simple. It is just honestly cutting a piece of duct tape. Honestly, that's as simple as it is. So I decided to work with a 3-inch piece. And how can you determine what you want to do? Well, you simply can do one of two things. You can go look at your scraps and say, what do you have a lot of? Or maybe you can just put them in a pile by size. Okay, so here I'm getting some smaller ones, and these are some longer ones. So it's up to you. And then here's a good thing when you're doing this. Okay, and wait till you cut this down, or before you cut it down, depends. If there's some scrap you just don't like, no, those are going to, I just don't even want to see it. It does not make me happy. I don't even want to see it, don't want to see it, don't want to see it. Okay, so if you're going through a scrap, your folder, your bin, your tote, or you've even cut them down, because honestly I have found if you don't like a scrap of paper, but if you cut it down, it maybe doesn't look so bad. But when you cut it down and you still don't like it, I say ditch it. Ditch it, ditch it, ditch it. So these, I'm just looking here. I'm just giving a quick look through if there's anything I don't want to keep. Honestly, love them all. There's my mind's eye. Oh, yes, yes. Okay. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, so I don't like those. Those are going into my purge pile. Do not like them. Okay, so now I have some small ones in the front, and these other ones in the back, they're basically the same size, but I'm really not going to stress over that. Okay, but what you can do is I've just decided to use a range of multicolors. I could do this in the rainbow system, but maybe that's what we'll do, and then we'll see what that looks like. Why not? So I'm just looking to see if there's any that looks shorter than the other, and I'm just kind of loosely, I'm not going to stress over that. Okay, I'm going to loosely see. I have them in a pile by the length. Okay, and like I said, I'm not stressing over it. If I see one, I'm grabbing it. If not, okay. So they're basically, and that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so let's go ahead and put them in by rainbow. Of course, some of these already are. Well, look at that. All right. And then I could go through the rest of these and put them in rainbow color if I wish to. Okay. Now, if you like the front of one and back of another, you know, flip it out. Okay. Yeah. Show one, show the other. Yes. It's up to you. Because when you're flipping through, let me just get one. When you're flipping through, you're going to see the back of it anyways. So, yeah, I don't really like those, but that's okay. Okay? Okay, because you may see a couple of these in tomorrow's video. Yes. Okay. So, I'm just, what am I doing? I'm sitting here putting these in rainbow color. That's what I was going to do. Basically, they kind of already are. So you can go as simple and just put them together, or you can go as organized as you want and definitely put them in by rainbow color. There's a multicolor, okay? So that's what I'm going to do with this one. I'm just going to go ahead and put it by rainbow color. Why not? I'm going to see orange and green and a black. Why not? We're doing something fun. Everything doesn't have to be done in 10 minutes, right? Okay, no. Okay, so we have pink, red, orange, yellow, green, and you can also, within your green, if you want to go light to dark, you can absolutely do that. Okay, green, red, orange, yellow, green. I don't have, okay, so there's my turquoise, blue, and a black, and multicolor. What do I see? Well, we're going to put that in red. There we go. Okay. So that is loosely in rainbow color. Those are in loosely rainbow color. And I have them also in by size. I think that's, okay, so that's what I have. Okay, so then what do is you try to, since this is all the same width, okay, this is 3 inches, we're going to get them all as tight and compact as we can. And if that means, I'm sorry, I probably was banging on that table. I'm sorry. Okay, now once you have your scraps in the order and color that you wish, again, this is 3 inches across, you want to make a front cover and a back cover. Now, why would you want to do that? Well, I'll show in this finished one. Because if you put duct tape around your spine, it's going to cover and perhaps ruin your first scrap and then also your last scrap. So I always suggest taking a piece of extra scrap paper. And I just use white. I think it shows up, and I have a ton of it. Okay, so if I'm doing a 3-inch wide book, my front cover is a 3x3 and my back is a 3x3. Now if I was doing this 4 inches, you could definitely do a 4x4, however you want to do that. So in this 4-inch wide book, my scrap isn't very long, so I made my front cover not cover that very first scrap, so I could see I have some small ones there, if that makes sense. Okay, so you can make the front cover and the back cover as big or as small as you want. Just make sure you leave enough allowance that you're going to cover up that with some duct tape. Okay, so again, you want to get this as tight. And of course, if I wasn't filming, I'd be really whacking this on the table to get this settled, but I don't want to do that, okay? Because my camera, my camera will shake. So I'm going to get this as tight as I can get, and then I'm going to just simply use a binder clip, okay? Excuse me. Now this binder clip is about 1 1/4 inch across, and so that would be about how much of a book. You don't want to go past that, okay? That makes a nice size. Now here's a bigger binder clip, and if you see my 4-inch book, okay, look at that. That's a big binder full. I would not suggest going any more than that. So if you open up that binder and your papers don't fit in that width, then I would remove some papers, because the bigger you get, the more chance you have of the spine not being as tight as you wish it to be, okay? And with that, the tighter you make the spine, the better your book's going to be. But you know that when you read a book and a book falls apart, it's because the spine wasn't made well. Okay, so what we're simply going to do, and this is not difficult, it's going to look harder than it is, because when you do anything, when you try to film anything, it doesn't go right. Okay, so we're going to use this Dollar Tree duct tape, or any duct tape you have. Okay, now let me stop there for a minute. If you're using just industrial, ugly looking duct tape, when you get this on here, let me get a bigger version, then what you can do is just take a piece of scrapbook paper again, and then you would cover, let me see if I have something wide enough. then you would just wrap it around and cover it with scrapbook paper if you don't want to see your duct tape. But, you know, it's up to you. It doesn't matter what it looks like. It's just a little book. But, of course, there's nothing wrong with making it look pretty. So, if you have to use, you know, duct tape that's not inspiring for you, just take a piece of scrap paper and wrap it around it. Yes, just apply some glue and wrap it around. So, what we're going to do is take this duct tape, and, of course, you can tell this is major stick factor here. From the Dollar Tree. Look how pretty that is. Okay, I've actually made bookmarkers with this duct tape. Maybe someday I'll show that. Okay, so of course I have this as tight and concise as I can. Okay, and again, I would wrap this on the desk quite a few times. And then what you can do is, if you have a straight cut, I'll try to do that, but I'm a lefty, so things don't cut very well with me on a good day. So you can try to get a straight cut as much as you can, okay? And that helps with having to do another cut, and you'll see what I mean by a minute. Okay. Okay, so there's our duct tape. We are simply going to take this spine, okay, and you're going to put that right on your duct tape and center it the best you can, and then you're going to cut this other side. Simple as that. Now you can cut as close to the spine if you want, or you can cut back here and then clean it up. So I have done it both ways. So I'm going to cut and leave a little, if I can cut. I'm telling you, this is some major stick factor here. Okay, and these are non-stick scissors, so of course you would need that if you don't want to struggle as much. So you see I have some extra at the top, and I think it's easier to trim that way. But then at the bottom, you see I took it right to the edge of the duct tape. It's totally up to you how you want to do that. So the first thing you want to do before you put any of the sides down is go and varnish that spine as much as you can. And of course, I'm going to get that stuck. Okay, so varnish that as much as you can. Okay, you could use a bone folder if you wish. I don't know. I think sometimes this is a glorified fingernail, but that's okay. That's just my opinion, okay? And then you just wrap that duct tape around the spine of the front and the back, okay? And so you have the spine, the front, the back, okay? And then down here, I don't have very much overhang. I don't have to worry about trimming that, but at the top, I have overhang. And I wanted to show both ways because I've done it both ways, okay? And sometimes I like having overhang because then I can trim it to exactly how I want it to look. Not that big of a deal. Okay. So there you go. Okay. Simple as that. Okay. And then once you get it the way you want it, you just take your binder clip off. And again, it doesn't hurt to keep reworking that, because what you're doing is, in essence, you're taking this piece of inside duct tape, and each one of those papers is grabbing a hold of that adhesive. That's what you're doing. And I'll show you what is the benefit of that. Okay, so I'm going to just make sure I have a little piece here at the top I'm going to trim off. Give it a little haircut there. Okay, but I do suggest non-stick scissors. If you don't have non-stick scissors, it may be a two-person job. One person holding the duct tape while the other person's holding the book and cutting. I've done that before too. You know, I didn't always have non-stick scissors, okay? But I do recommend that tool in your tool bin is a non-stick scissors. And I'll have the link below for this Scotch titanium. But this small little pair came from Hobby Lobby, and I think maybe $3. Very, very inexpensive. Has a very, very sharp point, so be careful with that, okay? And so, again, I'm just getting that as tight as I can to the spine. Use a bone folder, use your fingernail, use your table, whatever you want to use. Okay, now there's your little book of scraps. Okay, so the benefit of this is that you can have something like this, something this small. You can throw it in your crop bag. You can have it on your desk when you're doing your cards, when you're doing scrapbooking layouts, when you just need a little bit of something. Okay, and here's the best thing. If you have a lot of scraps and you really just want to do something with them and you don't want to just purge them, you can actually make a little notebook for yourself. You can use the reverse side. If you have a lot of scraps, and I don't know if I have something here. Here we go. If you have scraps that have a white back, and you don't like the scrap, make yourself a little notepad. Yes, you do. And just use and have all this white showing. Okay, and you can have a little notepad. So there you go. You can have a little book of scraps, and then you can make yourself a notepad with scraps you don't like. Yes, okay, because you know, if you get a scrap that has something like this, you can't really use that as a notepad. You can't write on that. Maybe the lighter colors, but if you have something that has a white back or cream back, you can definitely use that. Again, another use for those scraps before you decide to purge them, you can make little individual scratch notepads. Okay, it's the same thing. Okay, so then the benefit of this, again, like I said, is have it in your crop bag. You need a little bit of something. You got a punch. You want to use it. Say I want a red, but I don't feel like going and using a big scrap. Or especially when I'm making clusters, I always want just a little bit of something, or add pieces to my clusters. And so then the benefit is that you just simply tear it out, because it is a book. Okay, I can use the back or the front, use my punch, bing bang boom, I'm good to go. Okay, now the benefit this is, okay, now with this I would punch out 2 and then throw it away. Or if you really want to stretch your scraps, you can absolutely put that back in your book. I mean, that is the best thing, because if you take this out, you can see that little sliver of duct tape being exposed, and it adheres right back to that adhesive. Okay, there you go. Okay, run it across the spine. Look at that. There you go. It's not falling out. Okay, you can do that with any of them, and say, oh well, I'll pick this for layout multicolor. You know, that's easy, right? So I pulled this out. Oh, I'm going to use that. And then at the end of the layout card, oh no, I didn't. That's okay. Just stick it back in. Stick it back in. Rub your spine. There you go. There you go. Instant book of scraps, or as I like to call them, scrapbooks. Yes, little scrapbooks. So of course, I wanted to show this little way to make a book of scraps or a scrapbook, because on Saturday, World Card Making Day, you're going to see a video coming up, and you're going to see me playing with these, and we're going to make some cards with scraps using our scrapbooks. Okay, so, and also come back tomorrow, because there may be a video with a couple of these in there. Okay, hint hint, wink wink. Okay, so come back for the next couple days for World Card Making Day, a giveaway, some card ideas, and just a little bit of fun for the weekend. Okay, so that's all I have for today. I hope you got to I hope you can grab your scraps and use them in another way. Okay, now this would be something I would say, because I have bigger scraps like this, and so I would keep them this size. But if you have smaller scraps and they're starting to be a nuisance, but yet you still don't want to purge them just yet, get them in a book form. They're easier to use, they're more portable, and I think they're just downright plain fun to use. Yes, absolutely. So if you have any questions, if there's something I didn't show in enough detail, please just list below and I'll help. But honestly, you just need some non-stick scissors, some duct tape from the Dollar Tree, and if you don't have non-stick scissors, that's okay. You just find a second pair of hands to help you with. Okay, there you go. That is how to make little mini books of scraps. And, again, stretch those supplies a little further. Okay, so that's all I have for today. Come back tomorrow for a giveaway for World Card Making Day. Come back on Saturday on October 6th for actual card making day, and we're going to get some cards ready to send. Okay, that's all I have for today at RTS, and come back, because you never know what we're going to learn. Bye.